Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to React and Chill. This is a little podcast that we're doing here. I have a guest. His name is Brian Little. He's been a familiar of this channel a little bit. Been watching quite a bit of Friday Night Reacts and stuff, and he's also, I believe, an author. Brian Little, who are you and what do you do?
Hello, my name's Brian Little. I'm from Eastern Ohio. I'm an author, amateur artist, pretty much a jack of all trades. Plus, I'm a lawnmower lawnmower repairman owner for 30-some years, and an avid Deadman Rant and Chill reaction fan now for the last month or so.
That's pretty cool. Thanks for saying that last part. I don't have a whole lot of those, but I do appreciate it.
I am glad to see you're up early enough after last night. I wasn't sure if you were going to make it or not.
Yeah, that was a lot of shots of Jack Daniels and Mr. Black. And Mr. Black was not fun, man.
Well, at least it wasn't that old beer, though. That probably would have really done you in.
Yeah, that was going to do me in for sure. Oh, man. Because, oh, man. But, yeah, it was great having you, checking out the streams and stuff. It's a lot of fun. You request a lot of bands that I like. So the interesting thing about this podcast is we react to two things, hopefully two things you haven't heard of before. So that's the challenge. That's the biggest challenge here. But
yeah.
So you write, you're an author, and you also repair lawnmowers. That's pretty cool. So let's talk more about, writing stuff. How do you get involved in that?
Actually, it started from me trying to get healthy. I walk a lot in the mornings down the park because I'm getting old now, and trying to stay healthy. And I was walking down this local park called Beaver Creek State Park, and we have a local legend of a ghost who haunts it, and it's basically a 200-year-old legend. And as I was walking down there, I thought, I seen this boy fishing down there. He's probably 10, 11 years old. And I kept thinking, wouldn't it have been a neat Walt Disney family movie that they used to have in the 70s and 80s about if they had a story like about this boy who met a young, strange girl down there and they became fast friends. And I thought, boy, that would be a good story. And I went and talked to some friends of mine who are writers, and all of them are like, that's a great story, but I'm not going to do it. You need to do it. And I'm like, well, I don't know how to write. And they said, you know how to read, right? You read books. I said, yeah. And they said, there you go. So I started writing it out as I was, I wanted to tell the story of this boy meeting this girl, and things changed. The story developed. And I have a friend, one of my customers, believe it or not, is her name's Karen Russo. She's a former teacher. And I asked her, I said, would you like to edit this for me? For my punctuation and everything else. And she said, I really don't have time, but I'll take a look at it for you. And I already had like 100-some pages. And she basically called me up that night after I gave her the copy of it. And she's like, well, we need more. Come on, where's the story going? I need more. And I'm like, well, maybe I got something there. Maybe I can do this. And the funny question was, she asked me, she says, what is your main goal on this book? And I said, if I sell 20 copies, I'll be happy. And now I'm sitting well over 3,000 locally I've sold in this small town. And it ended up evolving to 2 more books after that. And I've sold them around the world. I mean, it's neat when you find out you sold one to Tasmania, over in that area. I sold a couple in France, some in Canada, some in England. And there was one actually in South Africa. So I'm like, yeah, this is neat getting my name out there.
Man, that's so cool to hear. Okay, so this is like your first venture into writing, and you did it kind of like you were told you had this idea, and you thought it was meant for someone else. You thought it was meant for someone else, and that someone else would have to do it because you weren't a writer at that point, and they're like, well, you could figure it out. I think you could do it if you know how to read.
Yeah, it was really neat. I mean, when people fell in love with the book, and it would be like funny, I'd wake up in the morning and I'd have text messages or messages on Facebook.
Yeah.
And people would be like, I hate you. I got to get up in 2 hours and I couldn't put this book down. And I'm like, yes, there we go. That's the way to get them. They just fell in love with it. And it actually, because of that, the park was there's two parts of the park. There's the main park, and then there's a smaller park. The smaller park is where the legend of Gretchen's Lock is from. And because of that, the book now we have people's interest going down there. We're actually this will be our fourth year of having a festival down there every year around the time of her death. Her, so it's actually really exploded around here.
Wow.
So
So wait, your book has actually helped tourism a little bit in a
yes,
way.
It's used to be weird because I actually was a musician and I quit playing because of my back issues. And you can't play heavy metal when you're in 50 years old and headbang. It kind of gets to you after a while. And I had the lawnmower shop, so it used to be people would see me at the store and they're like, "Hey, Brian, how you're doing?" And I think, well, they're a lawnmower customer. If they're younger, they're probably see me in the band. And now I got to sit and figure out if they know me from the book or from the festival or from the lawnmower shop because I've meet so many people. And I mean, I get friend requests all the time now on Facebook. And used to be you get them obscure ones that are spam or they're trying to get money out of you. And now they're calling they're adding me on Facebook and saying they love my book, and I thank them, and it's like I don't even know who half these people are,
Yeah,
and
that's
I hate
true,
to be
man.
that way. I wish I knew.
Yeah, when you reach that point, a certain point, a lot of people start messaging you, and then it's like, who's trying to con me, trying to
Yeah.
scam me? What's going on here? Yeah, I've noticed that too. Even as like doing the YouTube stuff, once I reach a certain number, next thing I know, I get a lot of like certain requests in Discord and Twitter and all that, but it's not legit. It's all like people looking for money. So anymore,
Yeah.
if I get a random message, I'm like, "Are you looking for money?" Because you ain't gonna get
I
it. Okay.
I always love them ones when they're help me. I'm in South Africa and they can't get my passport.
I'm like, well,
Can
I,
like, well, I hope you're good on your knees to get your passport back because you ain't get no money off me.
yeah. How am I supposed to help you with your passport problems? What? Do I look
Yep.
like United States Customs or something? What's going on here? Oh man, yeah. You're gonna have to find that African prince and please him.
Yeah.
All right,
It gets.
all right. So that's cool, man. So actually, not only okay, wait. Oh, some of my old writing friends might be a little jealous. Sometimes there's always a little bit jealousy. Sometimes maybe because it's like your first venture and it's working and it's actually sold enough copies to where it actually started bringing people to this park. So you helped stimulate the local economy there. Brian,
Yeah.
you're a gift
Yes.
to that area. Sounds like.
Well, I'm a humble and I'm enjoying my success, but I know it won't last. I mean, it's the hardest part was, and like you were saying with your friends, gifted writers, and they'll tell you the same thing. It's like some of them people are they're brutal. I mean, you got to have thick skin when you write a book, and that's why I tell everybody who wants to do one. I'm like, get prepared because if it's good, they're going to try to tear you down.
Yeah, for sure.
And and they're your friend until you outsell them, and then they get really mean and jealous. And it's like I don't like that. Like, why can't we be all a happy community?
Right.
And I mean, I met some really nice people, but I met some really jealous people too,
Yeah,
which I'm
and
sure you run into.
yeah, and it's sick how it happens. And I guess I can speak about that as someone who like I don't want people to fall victim to that. I say victim. I don't want people to get like consumed with like envy and stuff like that. But it happens sometimes. And it doesn't help anybody. It doesn't
Yeah.
help the person who is successful because next thing you know, you're targeting them. You're directing them with all your like ire and whatever because of your own issues. I'll just celebrate the
Yeah.
fact that they are doing well, man. Yeah, sure. Like you have some insecurities, you got them some things that you wish you could have achieved, and you see that this dude is achieving it. It's like, but just be happy for him, and maybe you'll get yours too. But you got to work for it, and there is a little bit
Yeah.
of being in the right place at the right time, and a little bit of that. And what? No one could really change that. But oh,
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's you end up having, which I've called it a writer's brain, to where you start looking at everything different. And the hardest part of it was, and I'll tell all your listeners, anybody who wants to write all your book, it's scary, but at night you'll actually start dreaming parts of the story, and you'll wake up and you'll have to realize, what's school, what's real, what's not, and then you fall in love with the characters, and you have a character die, and it's like you got to say they're imaginary. You got to talk yourself into killing them because you don't want to,
Oh, yeah,
because they're
that's
almost like
right.
your kids.
Yeah. Yeah, that is very true. When you start writing these stories, like you become like
You
yeah,
become
like
part of the story. They're your children. I mean, I have no kids, so because I always made sure when I dated, they were always spayed and neutered, so I don't have no kids. And but they're the closest probably to a kid I have. You know.
right. So what was that process like? Like having to like kill off a character and all that.
Um, I had to actually. I wrote up to the chapter where I knew I was going to kill a character off, and I took a week off. I was like, because I was so invested in this character. They were, my child and everything, and I had to tell myself they're already dead or they're not real. Just do it and get it over with. And it worked out good because I cared about the character so much. It must have came across in my writing that people actually told me, "Well, why'd you have to kill that person? I love that person." It's like, well, I had to do the story because I've always approached everything in life. Like when I started writing, I kind of came up with my own little saying to myself: every story starts and ends the same. There's a beginning, there's the end. It's what's in the middle that matters. So I actually have to build a story around it. And if, I would love to write a story where everybody's happy, everybody falls in love, there's rainbows, everybody's rich, there's no tragedy. But who wants to read that story, honestly? I
No,
mean, you want it to be that way, but it's not a story you want to read.
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you need some tension. You need something to happen. There has to be some
Yeah.
turmoil, or for anyone to really, really, fall in love with it.
Yes.
Yeah, it increased the stakes at times too, because sometimes the main sometimes like you're gonna have to do it. Like there has to be a reason why it's compelling. You have to give them a reason.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's yeah, whew, that could be a challenge. Writing that stuff. But now I want to dig a little bit. What is this Gretchen legend? Because I think you talked about it, but I don't think I really asked yet.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Are you familiar with the Erie Canal? Have you heard of that because I know you're in Texas, correct?
Yeah, I'm in Texas.
Yeah, they wanted to make a waterway, a canal system to connect the Lake Erie to like Pittsburgh to the Ohio River. The Ohio River flows into Mississippi, so they wanted to have it for transport. So there was a big rush to build these canal systems through this area. Well, they hired an engineer, the legend goes, from Ireland by the name of Edward Gill, and him and his wife and their 10-year-old daughter came across on boat to the Ohio to build this canal to be the engineer. Well, the wife died along the way,
Oh
and
no.
they end up burying her at sea. And as the father came step foot in Ohio, and he started doing this construction of this canal, which I think it was like 70 miles of canal that he was in charge of taking care of and building. Well, his daughter contracted malaria, but at that time they called it swamp sickness,
Oh no.
and
Okay.
she died, and he took her body and entombed it in a lock that is now called Gretchen's Lock to keep her there, because when the job was done he wanted to take her back home to their hometown to bury her in a family plot, which was customary, to transport the bodies back.
Yeah, it makes sense.
well he entombed her in there, and then when the canal was finished he um, unearthed her, put her on a ship, and on the way back over to Ireland, the ship sunk and was lost at sea. That's the legend. And then for 200 years now, because almost 200, because this happened in 1836, 1837, people's been reported seeing a little girl wander in the woods down there. And I have actually found old newspapers back in the 1900s saying that that somebody reported seeing a ghost and stuff like that. And the whole town, the area is a real tragedy because where the lock is and where they were stationed was actually a town called Sprucevale. And there was a reservoir, dry run reservoir, which fed the canal system. Well, that had a levee breach, and it ended up wiping a town out completely down there. And you can
Oh.
when you walk around in this little park, you can find footers of where the houses were. The one hillside, there was a primitive pottery that's basically buried in the hillside in mud. I mean, it's really a lot of tragedies happened down there.
Oh man, that's horrible to hear. But
Yeah, and I mean, it's a lot of information online about it. It's called Gretchen's Lock.
now, are
If
there
anybody wants to
people
look at it.
are there people who like who blame those tragedies on the I guess the ghost of Gretchen, like maybe some bad luck or something?
It's not really. They report seeing a young girl wander in the woods,
Okay,
crying for her mother, and that's basically the whole haunted. And that's one of the reasons I wrote the book, because the legend was really boring, and I wanted to write the book because, like, wouldn't it be neat if we got to experience her life down there for a year?
right, yeah,
You know, yeah, because you just go, okay, you have the story. She came here, she's sick, she died, now she haunts, and
yeah,
that's boring.
yeah, yeah. You got to put more into it, and okay, and that's kind of what you did there.
Yes.
Okay,
the the nicest thing I was told is some guy came up and shook my hand, and he says he wishes my book was the real legend because it's so much better than the legend. And I'm like, well, I appreciate that.
well, even the real legend from what you told there, um, well, it might have elements that are pretty common for back then. Like, okay, let's take the story of the family coming over to work on the canal. You know,
Yes.
going on transport back then, there's a good chance you may not even survive. You know?
Oh yeah, yeah. That was pretty rough. I mean, that was a different kind of people because
Yeah.
when I did research on the book, like, and was getting ready to, there was another character called Esther Hale, who is another local legend, and she died a year after. She was a jilted bride at the altar, and she wanders the park in her wedding dress, trying to find her lost love. And I was like, well, I wonder if I can work them two together. But the problem is Gretchen was 10 years old, and Esther, who passed away, was in her 20s roughly. And I took a little bit of liberties to adjust the age, because if they were real people, they would have known each other. And a lot of people don't realize in the 1830s, a 10-year-old was basically 2 to 3 years from being married.
Yeah.
They were it was a completely different breed of people, and it wouldn't be uncommon for a 10-year-old and a 20-year-old to know each other and probably be friends. But because of society and the way people are now, I took some liberties. So I moved the character of Gretchen to a 14-year-old girl, and I moved Esther down to a 16-year-old. I add and subtracted. I made them best friends to make it continuity, make it feel better when people read it.
Yeah. Yeah. That is very true. People would be like, "Wait, what's going on with this guy? Why is he dating a 10
Yeah.
year old? What's going on here?" It's like, whoa, hold on.
Yeah, when I'm writing, it's like, how much of a creep do I want to feel like? Do I
Yeah.
feel bad?
Yeah, but it's true. But back then, I mean, life expectancy was a lot lower, and people got started early, and harsher times, man. Harder
Oh yeah,
people too. Like it is a different thing altogether. I couldn't even
yeah,
imagine that. I could not even imagine living like that. Because like without AC, without any comfort, no smartphone, nothing.
well,
Like
here's the thing that blew my mind is I actually wanted to have this show some of the technology back then, and I have one character who gets a broken jaw, and I researched it. Here's what they did: when you had a broken jaw in the old days, they would wire your mouth shut. They would give you opium and alcohol.
okay,
And the first thing they do is remove your teeth, your teeth, so you could drink and eat. And then they'd wire it shut, and that's how they sent you on your way. They would actually
so
sew your jaw together and with no teeth, and your teeth be open to be able to eat.
what? Oh, okay. So your teeth are open, so there's pretty much a hole in your mouth. Your lips, you have to.
Yeah, because they took your side teeth out or front teeth, whatever worked out better, and that's where you push the spoon through so you could eat, and then your jaw shut, sewed shut.
But if your jaw's wild shut, you're not chewing. So eat what? Like regurgitated food?
Soup,
Ah, I'd say just
anything
give me the
mushed up.
bullet, man. Just can you just like take me out back or something? you
Yeah,
know?
pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah, and yeah, everything. Opium was the cure all for everything too.
Well, that much hasn't really changed as far as
Yeah, pretty
pharmaceuticals go.
much.
You got a problem? Here's some pain pills for your back
Yeah,
and stuff. You know.
yep.
Oh man, but dude, that is so wild. Like that's one thing about your story so far that fascinates me because I'm new to this legend. So you're going to get a little bit of that. You're going to get like it's going to transport you to a time where things were rough. It was like Oregon Trail sort of stuff, like that game. I love that game. That game is so fun. But
Yeah.
it was harsh conditions, and that is compelling to me. And then you get like, oh, it's a true story, but it obviously taking some liberties on it. And
yeah.
So, and then
then
you have this
go
paranormal
ahead.
part of it with the haunting. Like, tell me a little bit more about that. Like what's going on with this haunting?
Yeah, I wanted to like I said, in truth theory, and that a lot of people have went back there and captured EVPs. If you do a search on YouTube, you'll find a lot of investigators come from. Excuse me, one second. A lot of investigators from the East Coast come there and search it. They capture EVPs. There's been a few pictures of things. I mean, not a really vengeful or scary ghost. It's just what you think a young girl ghost would be like. And damn it, hold on.
Are you okay?
Yeah,
You're
just
haunted
some
by
phlegm.
Gretchen now.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, actually, you see where I'm sitting. I'll tell you a funny thing. I'm working on my next book, and I raised my arms like this the other night, and I hit something. There was somebody behind me, and freaked the shit out of me. I mean, but there was nothing there, and I felt somebody. So I don't know if they're watching or make sure I write their books right or what. I don't know.
I don't know,
But
man. So, in that room right now, and there's an open space
yes,
behind you. It looks like you could lift your arms up very high and not even touch the ceiling there. So you're telling me
there was
something behind you.
right about here, right about here. So I reached. You know when you reach and stretch, you bump into somebody.
Yeah.
That's what I did, and I flipped around here, and there was nobody here. It was about 9:30 at night.
Well, guys, that happened,
like,
and he's having a coughing fit right now. I think I don't need any more
maybe
evidence here. I think he's haunted by Gretchen. He needs to finish writing that book. Well, you already finished writing the book.
I'm working on a new one.
A new one.
Actually,
Okay.
Got quite a few, and I've been a friend of mine who did the artwork on the book cover you seen is actually hired me as a writer to work on a comic strip we're going to do.
Okay, that's cool.
And maybe right up your alley, we're going to do. It'd be the story of lost British troops during the French and Indian War who come across a Wendigo, and
Oh.
they start losing. So
Okay.
that's kind of where we're going with that. But if I could say on the book, you were asking about the ghost part, the true part in the book, I wanted to expand on the boy meeting the girl, because that's where the second part of the book comes, where he meets the ghost.
Yeah.
And the funnest part I had to do is, I don't know how old you are. I know we're close within the same age, but I think you're a little bit younger. I wanted to let the kids know, these new generation, of what it was like in the 80s, on how much they missed. And I wanted to, have fun about I really enjoyed writing a part where the boy's trying to talk to his friends, and his mom picks the phone up and needs to use the phone in the other room, and the boy had to hang up, and I'm sure you remember them times you couldn't be on the
Yeah.
phone
Yeah.
because your parents need to make a call.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just all the fun parts in life that people just didn't understand. Because how easy a lot of these young kids have it now.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, back then it was very crude. The phone technology was, you actually had to wait by the phone for the call. It was.
Oh yeah.
It's amazing. I think back at it now. How did I know I was going to get a call? Someone told you beforehand you're going to get a call later on.
Yeah.
You just kind of waited.
Yep. Doing that, and plus, there was no call waiting or whatever. They were busy. You'd be calling back every 2 minutes trying to get a hold of your high school friends. And then you had a time limit. You couldn't call later than this and that. I mean, it was different time.
Yeah.
Completely.
And then
we grew up.
But
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and then you put in like when they started bringing like the modem for internet. It's like if you had dial up and someone picked up the phone, they're when your internet. It was.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, when we first got internet here in Eastern Ohio, the service didn't adjust for call waiting, or I didn't know. So you'd be on there at all to say incoming call, and you'd have to turn everything off to pick the phone up because there was a phone call coming in.
Yeah.
Because it interrupt your service.
Like, man, how am I supposed to download this porn? If you keep on calling me. And it took a long time to download porn, ladies and gentlemen. It took a long time. That image took like 30 minutes.
A half hour to download a 30-second clip. That was like, wow.
Yeah. Man, kids are so spoiled now. Everyone's so spoiled. I'm spoiled. Technology is like great.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, it's like there's all this content being fed to you, all this stuff, the ease of access. So, you can navigate areas you've never been to before. You have what's available via shopping, what's available via like entertainment. You have so many luxuries. It is like almost overwhelming. It's almost like I feel like a content overload, like it's bombardment with stuff. But it's like, that's what makes it even harder for me to fathom what it would be like in the time period of the book you're working on, which is also makes it even more compelling. Like it's like a book like yours is kind of like a time machine. The closest you're going to get to a time machine where it kind of takes you back.
Yeah, I wanted to show them the romance of it, the enjoyment of, I mean, just things I miss, being able to stay out till 10, 11 o'clock, and you didn't have to worry about your mom worrying about you. You just had, if it wasn't a school night, as long as, you were home before midnight, nobody cared. And take your bikes and ride 5-6 miles and not have to worry about anything. It was a romantic time for me.
Oh, for sure. Oh, having your bike and be able to ride around, man.
Yep.
Back in our day,
Yeah.
having a bike.
We walked 20 miles to get pop.
Yeah. Well, Gata did actually in a way. And I had to ride the bike a couple of miles to the corner store just to pick up a Dr. Pepper and a Mr. Good bar. With money that I got from mowing yards, or I used to sell the Nintendo games I had that I didn't want to play anymore, and I'll sell them to other kids. And okay, yeah. So yeah, but having that bike, that was freedom. You could do kind of whatever. Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's definitely fun times. I mean, and I wanted to show that, how easy a lot of these kids have it now. And that's the second part of the story between, my romanticized in the 80s, plus, showing the story of this boy meeting this girl and him not knowing what she is.
Okay.
And the fascination they would have.
So in that one, it takes place in the 80s, and the dude and the girl, like they encounter Gretchen, or how does that work?
Actually, I'm not really giving nothing away. The girl is Gretchen.
Oh,
he just don't know it.
Okay.
He keeps seeing it. When I was writing it, I was picturing a shy young girl, being a cliche from the 80s, the hidden beauty that stayed in the back and would look at the attractive male lead, and she would love him from a long, admiring him from distance. Well, I wanted that to be the Gretchen in the main character's story, to where she was always, he was walking around, and he, down the park, is the only place time he'd see her, but he'd be walking down the park and he'd look, and there, he'd see a wisp of her hair behind a tree, that she was being watched by her.
Wow.
To where he confronts her, and they start having a conversation, and he keeps thinking, boy, what a weird girl. So that's how I build up a romance to it, but there is the horror part of the story too. Yeah. And plus he has friends with him, which expands everything in that.
Wow. So the dude falls in love with the ghost, essentially. He just doesn't know. He just thinks it's a weird girl.
He just doesn't know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. I was hoping that would happen when I was in high school. I was like, can I fall in love with a ghost? That'd be cool. No? Okay, can you imagine? Oh, okay. So part of this show is also reactions. And yes. Are you able to see this on the screen?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So let me go and shift this a bit here on my side as well. Okay. So this band here is Aldious. Are you familiar with Aldious?
I've seen their name. I've never really sat down and really taken too much on them.
Okay, yeah. They're an older, all-female heavy metal band from Japan. They have a similar look to like others. Like they kind of have like the whole like dress thing and all that, but it's like different colors. So they have that going on. They have a kind of a rotating members for various reasons, for like vocalists. This one is with Maki Oyama. Are you familiar with her?
Nope.
Okay. She's a singer. She does a solo career as well, from what I understand. All right. So this song here is "We Are." This is a live performance. This is going to be with Maki Oyama, so not one of the original singers. And I think this is a good place to start here anyway. But Maki Oyama's a good singer. And
Okay.
so first, I'm checking this out for you. So we're going to play it. You give me your thoughts about it at the end. We'll break it down, all that stuff. Hey, if you like it, that's cool. If you don't like it, that's cool too. We could talk about it.
Okay.
I mean, you like metal, so hopefully, if you don't like it, it's not too painful for you. But we'll see. All right, here we go. I'm going to press that play button, and we're going to get started here. Hold on. Is that too loud for you?
No, that's good.
Okay.
東京もっともっとこっちへ来いよI suffered one day, I cried one night, crouching on the looking like a perfect gorilla. Hoping one day to find something to lose. I keep on right, I will let you regret. 何度だってよみがえり羽ばたいてみせる Come on! We are following those eyes. Following those eyes.
I have no idea what she said. Okay, that was Aldious. We Are. That was a live version with Maki Oyama. So what do you think about that? What do you think about that there, Brian?
I was sitting there. Oh, big echo there. Hope that I'm hearing my voice feedback.
Oh, right now you are? I didn't really change anything on my side either.
I always want. Oh, there it comes back. The echo's back there. I'll try to fight through it. It felt like I was watching The Love Child of Warlock and Halloween, but there was a lot of resemblance to their music. I enjoyed it, except when they broke into the pre-chorus. That kind of threw me off a few times because it felt like it was too much of a drastic shift, like it didn't naturally flow to it.
Oh, okay.
But other than that, I mean, I really liked it. I mean, the drummer, boy, she's got must have some big ass calf muscles the way she's working in double kicks and everything in there. And guitar solos were good, and the singer's got a good voice. She wasn't too heavy on the vibrato, which too much vibrato gets on my nerves after a while.
Yeah, some people are when it comes to vibrato, can be kind of like it depends on how much you could tolerate, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't too Fuki, shall we say, or whatever her name is from
Fuki from Unlucky Morpheus. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's definitely something I definitely would. I'm gonna have to start looking into more of their stuff.
And that's the thing too. They have
definitely good.
They have had different singers. So this is Maki Oyama. She does have a little vibrato. I think the previous one did not have so much. What I remember of Reno's voice was that it was very. It does kind of have like this kind of whisper sort of sound to it. It sounds very distinct.
Okay.
I don't know of other singers who sound like that, and it's fitting for this because it kind of has like this kind of haunting voice. It's soft and gentle.
Okay.
But Maki Oyama was fine for it. I wanted to show this because it was live, and the way they sound live is pretty cool, especially the band itself. It's very like the drumming was thunderous, and the guitars are having fun, and obviously they look like they're having fun playing it. So I was like, okay, this is cool. I like this,
Now, I did like the bass player. I mean, she was definitely rounding out the bottom end on that. I mean, she had a nice drive because that was my instrument of choice when I did play. I was the bass player and sang a lot with it. But I mean, I appreciated what she was doing. She was keeping it solid underneath.
For sure. Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta have that instead of having a bass player. I mean, I love F Chop or Koga, but sometimes it's like you could back out just a little bit, it would still work good.
Yeah, I could see that. Sometimes in Gacharic Spin, F Chapakoga is pretty much like kind of like the lead in that band at times. It's like I think the bass player is the lead here,
Oh, I do have something interesting to tell you. An observation I had on Gacharic Spin.
Okay, what's that?
Do you realize because they brought Angie in and a replacement drummer that Hana basically she's not the most important member of the band no more? If you think about it, Angie's just enough talented singer as Hannah, if you will. Yuri is just as good as drummer as she is, and Tomo is way better of a guitar player than she is. She could leave and the band won't change. If you really think about
it. You raise a good point there. You raise a really good point. Could she leave and the band not change?
Pretty much.
Wow. Because there's times where she was on the drum and they didn't have two guitarists and everything sounded just about the same.
Same good. Yeah, because you have Oreo who can basically be the second guitar player on keyboards.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, I love Gacharic Spin, don't get me wrong, but it's like she just gave her position away in the band. She's not important now.
Oh, but at times it's cool to hear her voice. I mean, I do like what she adds there, but you're saying like if she were to leave, it really wouldn't change much. I could see that. That is true.
Would not change at all.
So, but I guess being one of the founding, I guess she is one of the core members. She's definitely gonna stick around in case. What if the drummer decides to leave, and then we should go back to drums.
Yeah. That's I want her back on the drums. I enjoyed him more. I asked you the other day, who did you like better? Which version of it?
Oh, that's what you meant.
And I mean, I like the songs that Army did, and that she did with them. But I just think when they had the dancers, they were more. They had a poppy sound to it, but it was enjoyable to hear. you could follow it. And that's the reason I said this newer stuff with Angie is more technically difficult, but sometimes I can't even find a rhythm in the song anywhere. I can't find nothing. It keeps you on the edge all the way through the song. It's like, where is this thing going? And it's not a comfortable feeling.
You know what? I'm putting you on the spot. Maybe right now.
Yes.
Maybe not right now, but is there a Gacharic spin song in mind that you're thinking that kind of like, because that's hard to find the rhythm to?
Yes. I appreciate the song. It's that replica or whatever.
Oh, okay. Replica.
That song just, I can't get into it. I can't find the comfort with it.
Oh, I hear you. Oh, that's a good song. I know that song too. Now,
yeah,
normally,
it's a good song, but it's like I just can't get comfortable with it. It's like it just don't feel right.
Huh. I wonder if we're supposed to feel comfortable with it, because I had this feeling about it that like it kind of builds up gradually, and it gets more frantic, and then it just explodes and just high pace and okay. Because now normally the second reaction would be something you haven't heard of either, but I mean I guess we could shift the script here. I mean I am the host and you're the guest. We're talking about Gacharic spin. We could just do this. By the way, do you still get that echo, or is it not as much?
It's not now. It was just right after we came out of the video. When my screen switched up here off the video, the echo disappeared. Okay.
Well, what about now? Do you hear the echo now?
No. Well, there it is, right there.
Yeah, I toggled something on my little mixer. Okay. Now say something.
Hello.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good now. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it was feeding back into you. Your channel was feeding back into you, so that was not very good.
I'm fat enough. I don't need any more food, something fed into me.
Yeah, and sometimes we don't even really notice unless there's like some sort of latency, and then you start. Oh wait, now I'm really hearing it. Okay. Anyway, let's go ahead. Let's do that real fast. Let me pull up Gacharic spin replica. Just the music video. I guess that's fine. Yeah, do that.
Yeah, I think that's the only one they have on it, isn't it?
Yeah. They have a live, but let's hear the official audio. Okay, here we go. We're both fans of Gacharic spin, and I've given my take on this song several times. We're gonna check out Gacharic spin replica and really get into it. So let's do it. Oh, let me share it on your screen. I could do that.
Okay.
Because you're not seeing anything right now. All right. Okay. All right. Now let's roll. It is coming for you, right?
Yeah.
映し映される関係できる限り清く美しくよいけるいつも誰かが気がかり似たスペックそれなり何々取り繕う毎日まだ水曜日肩が重いお手製のカットメイク決して記憶の数だけ握りつぶした缶ビール今日は5番目のレプリカ見失って私何になればいいの悲しい嬉しい人ってだるい基本誤作動不機嫌で人を操る味方作るためスマイル本当は寂しいんだよね消えた夢に夢がちゃん自分らしさ見失って私何になればいいの私じゃなくたっていいのそれくらい分かってる自分らしさなんてみんな一生わからないかも開いた穴を埋めるようにハマるように演じちゃってうんざりレプリカビートを見事でわつらに笑ってさ浮かぶでは本物はどこ手段はない見
Okay, there we go. So we just heard it recent. Now it's in our mind, pretty fresh. Okay. So let me ask you, Brian, what works for that song, in your opinion? Obviously.
I can enjoy it till the chorus. The chorus feels like it's pushed together too much.
Okay. All
It
right.
just feels like you could. And um, I'll give you for instance. Are you familiar with "Diary of a Madman" by Ozzy Osbourne?
Yes.
Okay, how the verses build up tension, build up tension, build up tension, and then when he goes into chorus, it releases the tension.
Right.
This one builds up tension because I actually did catch um, part of the reason why it's 4 4 4 4, and then they do a measure of 3 4 before the choruses sound like. So that's building up tension, but there's no release in the chorus. And I see what you're saying now about being the chaos. It was meant to build tension. I can appreciate it more now because you brought that up, and I never thought of it that way. But it does seem right. But there's no release to it. It's just well, like we said in AI porn, there's a fake orgasm. That's what that joke me and you had the other day.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. It's just building up, but there's no release anywhere.
Okay. So, you hear that it does build up. There's a build up to the song, but what doesn't work is that there's no real release. Okay. Now, so what about I guess the stuff before the chorus that's really working for you?
It's like I said, you're feeling the tension build up the way she's singing. You can feel everything's getting hectic, hectic, hectic. So I can appreciate that.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's just the chorus. If they did something different with the chorus, I'd really. I mean, it's still a good song, but it just doesn't hit home with me because there's no gratification to the chorus. That's like they did the same thing with Mindset. Mindset builds up, it's hectic, hectic, but then you had that nice release of the chorus, and this one doesn't have it.
Now, when I heard it, like I liked the layers that are going on there, like the what F Chapacoca is doing with the bass. It's definitely driving this song. It's very bass and drum heavy. It actually kind of sounds like just a drum and bass like sort of like mix there, kind of for me anyway. It's very heavy in that, and then you had like these like kind of keyboard tones kind of going over it. It just sounded like a lot of different textures to me at this, and hearing it, I could kind of see kind of your perspective how it is a lot of stuff. Like where is the I guess like the melody or the comfort, if you will, because it's just building up. This is to me, I was thinking this is a video game song. This is a song that I want to hear when I'm playing some like high intense video game and just shooting things on the screen. No, I just want something to be playing, and that's what I was thinking. And then what you said about the leading up to the chorus, I do see that too. Like it's constantly building up, building up, building up. Now I see it in a different way. I think the way Angie kind of like explodes, she's constantly rapid fire. It's like we don't get that full big explosion of like a release. We get like this constant like do, and it's just a different. And I could see how that could be not soothing, very because it's not what you're expecting. It's just like this. Oh, yeah. Am I out there in left field on this one?
No, you know what it honestly feels like? It feels like they had, they'll just say F Chapacoga had the chorus, that had the verses. And then Angie says, hey, I got a song that might work. And they just threw two songs together is what it almost feels like. Like that, their song Kachi Kachiyama. Okay, look at that one. That one is that's even more crazier timing and messed up than this song is. But they give you that gratification of that big chorus.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Fills it in. This one doesn't have it. That's what this one's missing.
You know what, too? I can see this compared to other Gacharic spin songs. It does sound very different. Well, you do get the bass. The bass is doing what the bass normally does. There's a lot of slapping. There's a lot of it's in there. It's in the mix, for sure. But you get this build of tension, and this like in the chorus, it's like, what are you hearing in the chorus, Brian? It's like a chaotic mix of what?
It's they always said that Gacharic spin was organized chaos.
Yeah.
This one is unorganized chaos.
Yeah.
But I really have to, when it comes to Gacharic spin, I just have to remember something I tell everybody. When anybody says what's Gacharic spin like, I tell everybody it's Red Hot Chili Peppers with talent.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah. I like that.
I mean, there's a lot of similarities to them.
Yeah, I can see that. I suppose like a song like this, it's like it's cranked up, like the creative and like experimental factor, and just like the fun. I don't know, really not fun. It's just the energy. There's like an energy to the song. It is kind of dark in a way. Do you get that too? Especially the way it begins.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, this will be a darker song.
Yeah, I understand what they're doing. I know they don't want to be. I going back to my childhood, the '80s. I don't want them to be like them '80s bands who would release one of their power ballads and then their next 4 albums with nothing but power ballads. And I understand. You got to grow, but there's sometimes you just jump too much.
Yeah,
And I just feel like they took too far of a leap forward in this song.
Yeah. What about that one? Oh, that like midsection in the song, that where it gets all quiet and soft, and Oreo's like playing the piano.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it gave you a rest, but that tension of the chorus just it's hard to get through.
Okay. Yeah. Now, if I had it fired up and I was playing like, or if you had it fired up and you're playing like a game where it's like, I don't even know if you play a lot of video games or whatever. Because I'm thinking that chorus could probably work in a setting, like if you're just like focused.
That chorus. I could see that chorus because I'm old school. I can only do 2-dimensional games. I can't do the 3D. I've tried. I cannot do it. So if it's a flat screen moving left to right, I would love to hear that song when Mario gets the indestructible flower.
Yeah, there you go.
The indestructible star. That would work great in that part.
Or even Contra. If you remember Contra.
A long time ago.
Long time ago, man. Yeah, back in the day.
Or you know what? Here, I'll even go back even further. If this was the theme song to Sonic, I could handle it.
Hey, I know Sonic as well. Look at that. Yeah.
It would make sense.
Yeah, this actually would fit a Sonic game, actually. Now I think about it. All right. That's cool. All right. So
I want to play video games. I just can't do it.
Yeah. I play it, and I play them every now and then, but then I'm like, oh, what am I doing? Hey, what am I doing?
Yeah. I do stuff like that, and I started thinking, I showed you the sculpture. The people here didn't get to see it, but I was like, I'm wasting time on this video game, and I could be sculpting, I could be drawing, I could be writing.
Yeah.
What a waste of time. That's what hits me then.
Yeah, it can be. You got to manage that time, man.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's our reaction part of this. So, but let's go back to. So we talked a little bit about this Gretchen book, and I believe there's like 3 parts, right? There's 3 parts.
Yes. Yeah. The third part. Good.
I was gonna say, let's get into the third part here.
The third part is there's 3 time jumps in there because I wanted the story to move along. And I was like, how can I get it? Well, the funny part is that the main character, Chris, and during the times, I thought, wouldn't it be interesting for a person to be the fictional character, the beginner, the godfather of all the ghost hunting shows? And he's got the #1 ghost hunting paranormal television show in the world. And he's coming back to his hometown because he has the death of a friend.
Okay.
And I wanted to bring everything back. So now you got this kid who originally didn't believe in ghosts when he met Gretchen. He still thought he was a girl. Now he's coming back to his hometown, and he's a paranormal researcher and everything else. And I wanted to see how interesting that'd be, how much growth would be between him and his friends if they separate. Because I kind of like the idea because it's a little bit on my personal life. I moved out to Phoenix for 10 years, and then I came back, and I wanted to share my experience of coming back to people you went to school with, what that's like. You haven't been back to your hometown, how everything feels smaller and not as big and grandeur as you remembered it.
Yeah, I remember those times, like the high school reunion. Yeah.
Yeah.
You meet these people
Well,
and you're like, wait, what happened to you? I thought you were going to do stuff with your life, but you did not.
have you reached the point now in your age where you look at saying, who are all these old people, and you realize you went to school with them?
Yeah.
Hit that mark yet?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah. I'm like in my 40s now, so it's like, I remember back in the day, you used to be hot, Marjorie, but now you're not.
Eh, it's like, you went from I'm sorry for saying this, but you went from camel toe to elephant butt. What happened to you?
Yeah, yeah. But at the same time, I've aged fast. We all do, and you look at yourself, you're all like, gray and white, and the beard, and the hair, and like you're balding, and then there's more wrinkles, and then it's like, has some, and then certain parts are hanging lower. It's like,
Yep.
wow.
It's that D cup don't look too good when it's in its 50s.
No. And then you realize your boys are hanging lower too. You're like, dang.
Yeah. My dad always told me, he says, you're going to hate when you get old. I mean, my dad passed away back in 2007, but he told me, he says, you know what the hardest part of being old is? And I said, what? And he says, making sure you don't sit on your balls when you sit down. I'm like, really?
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, for sure. So okay, so Chris, a lot of things happened. He had been in a relationship with a ghost a long time ago, and then he leaves and he starts a paranormal investigating career, and it's very successful, sounds like. And he comes back to his hometown. So I would imagine from all those experiences, he's really set apart, has really changed compared to all of his classmates, if you will. Because first off, having a relationship with a ghost, I don't know what happens if you were to sleep with a ghost. That would be some weird stuff. I'm sure it does.
Takes necrophilia to a new level, right?
Right? I mean, but it's a spirit, though. And what does that do to your body? Is it draining your energy, or what is it? Like I don't know.
Well,
how do you even explain that to your friends?
Well, true. But it's definitely something. I mean, I didn't want to go that far with it. I mean, I'm glad you are, because that thought did cross my mind. And there's a few things, but him handling everything, because I wanted to throw a lot of references into stuff. Like I drew a lot on I think I told you, when I write, I listen to music.
Right.
When we had the one conversation, and Nightwish has some great lines in her songs, and I would borrow a little bit here and there. And like I did tell you, and I told you about 3 months ago, the book I'm working on now is the reference to Rant and Chill will be in the book.
Uh-oh.
So I'm definitely using that in there for. Well, it's just going to be a mother talking to her daughter, and the mother's going to ask her, "You just sitting around ranting and chilling tonight, or what's going on?"
Like,
but that's going to
funny.
be something for you. Going to throw in.
That's pretty cool.
And a lot of baby mouths. Like, I've really, through my writings, really made me attracted to the Japanese culture and the way they use kind of metaphors to explain stuff, and I really enjoy that. It's like there was a song. I wish I could find it, and you probably know which one it is. It's Gacharic Spin, and it's basically feeling bad for the people who never was able to reach their potential in life.
Feeling bad for the people who never reach their potential in life.
Yeah, it's actually it's moving, because Angie starts singing it, and she breaks up in the middle of the song, and she can't sing it, and Oreo has to take over and finish the song.
Like when they perform it live, or even when they record it?
Yeah, when they performed it live, or Angie stopped singing because she's bawling too much, because it's basically saying, I feel sorry for you because you didn't reach the potential you wanted to in life, and I did. And it's a really good song. And
I'm trying to think what song this is. And it's one of their slower ballads, right?
Yes.
I think I know what it is, but I don't know. Wait, is it a recent one?
Well, it has to be within the last 4 years, because Angie's singing it.
Yeah.
I know Repo will probably know it.
For sure.
It's like
I think I've seen that performance too.
Him in Phoenix.
I think I've seen that performance where like she was singing and she stopped and Oreo took over. But that right there, what you just said, that line in that song, that's it. That's the feeling you feel when you meet your
Classmates,
cohorts after so much time.
Yeah, we have. I don't know what the city you're like in. We have a lot of heroin and opiate problems and everything here, and we lost a lot of classmates because of it. And I'd see these people. And it's like this one guy I went to school with. He was not saying it in a homosexual way, and I don't mean to come across that way. But if I wanted to, he was probably one of the best looking guys you ever seen in our school.
Right.
And now he's half his teeth are missing. He's balding. He's stuck, hooked up on drugs and everything else. Is like, what happened to him? And you feel bad for him. It's like you had everything in your hand. You couldn't make the next step in life.
Yeah, that's true. Oh man. But so, God, I don't know what to do with that because like you see the scenes and like I live in a safe neighborhood, the safest neighborhood in America. Apparently, that's what they say. That's what the town says. I don't know how true that is. So I don't see a lot of that stuff firsthand, but of course I do hear about it. That certain areas are hit pretty hard with opioids and fentanyl and all that stuff, and it's just tearing up. It's just ruining. It just leaves ruin behind. And then you look at these people, and like they were your classmates. They're people you used to know, and now they're like, who are they anymore? Now they look kind of like a golem from.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they look like something from what's a game? A Fallout. You know, they look like that. So some sort of like ghoul. It's like, what is this? This used to be someone I went to school with. You know, now they're a ghoul.
Yeah, this is a hard hit area around here. I mean, I'm right now. You remember the train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio?
Yeah.
When the train, I'm 12 miles from there. I'm 30 miles from where they took a shot at Trump. I mean, there's a lot of stuff goes on in this area.
Wow. Did they ever finish cleaning up that area or no?
They're right now they're in the middle of lawsuits and everything else, and unfortunately a big law firm came in and they're part of it now, and they're trying to say anybody within 25 miles from the derailment eligible for money, but nothing came this way. The wind blows to the smoke and contaminants was going towards PA, not towards me.
Okay.
But everybody's jumping on the bandwagon, and the people who need the money aren't getting the money because they're grouping them all into one big lawsuit. They don't realize that when there's a bunch of people, the money pot's going to be a lot less.
Yeah. See, that happens too, right? And people come in, they try to help, and they're trying. Some other people who weren't really victims of it, they just want to take advantage of the opportunity to get some extra money, which I understand people are going to try to grab that bag too. But maybe that bag isn't for you, you know. But
this one lady who used to sell my book, she lost her business and everything. She was, derailment happened basically 200 yards from her business, and she had to close her business up. She lost her house and everything because they had to tear everything down. And now I think everybody's getting like $2,000 because if you get qualified for this lawsuit, it's like that's really not going to help much.
Yeah, $2,000. That's not going to last 2 weeks, man.
Yeah, you get a shopping trip to Walmart's and get that big 80-inch TV.
That's the last thing you need, really. I mean, you need a bigger screen in your life, or you need something else.
Yeah,
you're
probably like me.
Go ahead.
You're probably like me when that COVID money came in that everybody got, that they handed out. Mine went to bills, and all them other people were just buying stuff at Walmart. It's like, oh, I got a big PlayStation. It's like, you got bills coming up. Put the money away and save it.
Yeah, it went to bills. It went to pay off the credit card. Some of it went to to a savings account that had a decent return there. But that's hard to find. It was one of those online banks, SoFi or whatever. So anyway. But yeah, man, so there's a lot of hard hit things going on in your area, and are these elements that are also going to be in your book as well? Because it seems like It'd be very rich.
There's some in there. I mean, the town of East Liverpool, that's where I'm from, is actually the starting point when they did the Louisiana Purchase. They started surveying. That was the actual first mark where they started. Um, so I work a lot of that into it. Pretty Boy Floyd was actually, if you remember him, if you ever heard of him, he was actually killed half a mile from Gretchen's Lock. So I work him into the story. There's just anything locally that happened I can do. I try to get it in my stories.
Yeah, I don't
So
know
it's
about Pretty
kind of
Boy
like-
Floyd. I don't know about him. Was he a very
He was a
hot
gang-
homosexual?
No, he was a gangster.
Oh, so he probably would have
back
shot
during
me
the
for
time
saying
at Dillon.
call him. Okay.
He was actually a modern day Robin Hood, if you will. He's
Pretty
a
Boy
very
Floyd.
interesting character. Yeah.
Huh.
But I try to work. I feel like I fell in love with history, and I try to work give you a history lesson while you're reading a book, kind of like Sabaton does with their songs and videos. You know, you're
Yeah.
listening to a rock and roll song, but you're getting history too, and that's where, you know, I try to work that into the same thing by teaching a little bit of history to people.
Yeah, that makes.
So while they're reading, getting lessons, yeah,
That's
it makes
pretty
it more
cool.
interesting too.
That's what I'm liking about this book. It's compelling in that way because it is a little bit of history there. It's like I said, it kind of takes you back to another time. So a lot of things for new readers, especially if they're younger, be like, "What, people actually live like this? I don't understand."
Oh yeah, the research on that stuff. Well, my hardest problem is I have a bad habit of using okay.
Yeah.
And the first part of the book, it's taking place in 1800s. I'm doing a lot of okays, and my editor gets a hold of me and she goes, "Is that word appropriate for that time?" And I look, okay didn't become a word till like 1920s. I'm like, shit, I had to go back and pick all the okays out of there.
Yeah.
And you know, I tried to discover old words. I mean, I fell in love with the old English language. Like I had one character talk about a prostitute, and I looked it up and I found the old slang for prostitutes was called a hedge creeper.
Oh, a hedge creeper.
Yeah, because when back in the old days in the 1800s, you'd have a person who had a business, he'd have a mansion, and he'd have his bank and everything there, the money right there, and he'd have hedges going to basically making a single line owl to the payment window they have in their house.
Okay.
And the reason they call them hedge creepers because the women, prostitutes, would hide in the hedges and wait for the guy to see if he got money or not, if he had money and wanted the company for the night. So they were called hedge creepers.
I like that. The women are just hiding in the hedges, in the bushes, waiting for the rich man.
Yeah,
Hey.
so they get, you know, like, hey, you want a good time? And it's like I fell in love with the old English language too. Some of the old expressions, like a useless bloody gash I use in the book of Gretchen. They go, "What's that?" And I said, "A woman won her time of the month." I'm like, there's so many neat things, words that are gone and lost to history, which I try to bring back.
Yeah, got to bring it back. Now, some of those words might be slurs now. I have no idea. I have no idea. So, it's so old. Like, oh man, I'm gonna say hedge creeper. I want to call my wife a hedge creeper and see if she freaks out.
I guess we'll be catching more videos from you in the garage end or the shed.
Yeah, for sure. I'd be like, well,
when she finds out.
I'll be living in the shed now. All right, this is my place. Oh man. So okay, one other thing I want to touch on before we wrap up, because we've been doing this for about an hour, is so you've actually had success with this book. I mean, you sold some copies, and so what has been the feedback like?
The most common feedback I get is they say it's one of the most original books they've read. They have no idea where it's going, but everything comes back together the way it should. I've had a lot of people praying for me that it gets made into a movie. They said it'd be one of the best movies out there. And I mean, I hate bragging about myself, so I don't like doing this, but I'm just saying the feedback's been so positive. It actually is embarrassing. It humbles me even more and more every time I, hear it. And it's like everybody wants, when I do the Gretchen Fest, that's what we call it. Everybody wants me to speak down there. It's like, why do I have to speak? Can't other people do it? This isn't about me. I try to make it about everybody else, not me.
You're the man now,
Because I'm
Brian.
Yeah. the joke I'm telling everybody, I'm doing all this to get a wooden plaque with my name on it that put up down the park that somebody will steal after I die. So,
Well, is there any copper on that wooden plaque? So I think you're fine.
no,
Don't actually just say there's no copper here. Do not steal this. It's a piece of wood. It's not that valuable.
yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
But I mean, it's been very, very positive. I wanted to I'm very OCD on things, and I like I said, I wanted to make something original that you've never read before. There's too much of the books. I don't know how much of a book reader you are, but as soon as like what the 50 Shades of Grey came out, which I'm sure you're familiar with,
Yeah.
there's hundreds of copies. It's like, do something original, people. Don't just copy it and just, do the same thing somebody else did and just change the names.
Another BDSM book with a billionaire. What's funny is a lot of those things were popular. Oh, no. Well, that stuff, that whole like genre existed way before 50 Shades of Grey, but 50 Shades of Grey just made it popular. And it wasn't even supposed to be that. It wasn't supposed to be like a Twilight. It was a Twilight fanfic.
She started out, it was a Twilight. Yeah. She was changed it up to make it a sexier Twilight movie, story.
Yeah.
And most of the people if you knew where to look, you could find it online, so you didn't have to pay for it. And I read it, and I'm like, okay, I enjoyed the texts between the two people more than the whole story, because like, this is boring.
Yeah.
After a while, I was like, yeah, this woman needs to get out more before she starts writing about stuff she knows nothing about.
Right. Well, I mean, when I read the book, I didn't read all of it, but when I read part of it, I was like, I read worse than this. This is like nothing. This is like nothing here.
It's like, makes you want to just go back and get your old Penthouse letters to Penthouse and just make it in story form and say, here's my book.
Yeah. Oh man, that's crazy. But so you're tired of like people just kind of like regurgitating stuff and duplicating stuff, and you do have like a story that's about a ghost, and that happens quite a bit too. There's a lot of ghost stories, but yours stands out.
That's one. Yeah, that's one of the most common thing about the world. I mean, if you really want to go into it, there's references to ghosts in the Bible.
Yeah.
I've had a few feedback. They're like, oh, you shouldn't. A few religious people didn't like it because of something anti-religion. I was like, that's not anti-religion. There's references to ghosts in the Bible. I have one of my best friends who passed away. He was a pastor, and he loved the book, and he seen nothing wrong with it. And I was like, if he found nothing wrong with it, I don't see why you would too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes they get stuck on something that they perceive as I don't know. I think they're over concerned,
Yeah, they have to have something to bitch about.
Yeah, for sure. And they want to cast judgment on you when they probably are freaks. That person casting judgment, but the person being like, shame on you for making that biblical reference. They might have a sex dungeon. They might legit have a sex dungeon where they get spanked. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yep. But I have one question for you on music when we get a second.
Oh, sure. Yeah, hit me up with it.
I want to see what you think about Saki. Your opinion on that whole situation.
Oh. Or
you don't want to touch it.
I'll get into it. Look, at first, let me just make it clear. Obviously, she could do what she wants. I'm not saying she's not free to do what she wants. She could do whatever she wants. I wish you would have stayed. I wish you would have stayed in Imafilla. That was great when she was there, and she left. And what is she doing, really? She is doing a solo career, but how many songs has she released? What's going on with that? She did a show, okay, and she was in a kind of a cover band for Larkin Cell, which some people were like, "What is that?" And I kind of knew what that was because I had an album of theirs a long time ago, and I would listen to it. I was like, "That's so strange. That's something she wanted to do. She wants to kind of be more like popish. She wants to be more like, I guess, commercial. Like." It's like she wants to, I want to say it, sell out to be paid for doing commercials and being like bigger gigs and stuff like that. And she could do what she wants. And maybe you don't like the way I frame it, but that's what I think of it.
Okay. Would you like to hear my opinion?
Yes.
Go back and watch old interviews with them.
Okay.
And she joined that band because I have a very imaginative mind as being a writer, so I'm sure you understand.
Yeah.
And I noticed a lot of things. When it was all about Saki, everything was good. And you watch when Mayu was starting to get recognized, when Husky her guitar talent was starting to come out, and even Haraguchi-san, her cuteness. The Haraguchi-san is probably like the cutest in the band. It's just her smile just makes you smile.
Yeah.
And Murata Tamu, I mean, she just is them two are just beautiful. And you see her, if you go through the interviews, you'll see her backing away more and more and more. In the beginning of last year, she posts, I think it was watching Gaijin Guys or somebody, to where, no, it was, it was Gaijin Guys, but it was the one guy from Texas. No, not Texas, from, the one with the beard. The older guy.
I'm not sure. Well, are they going over her New Year's Eve Twitter post? Yeah, I went over that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she said she wanted to start doing things for herself. And I'm like, you know what? She has an ego that's getting hurt.
Yeah.
It's not about her no more.
I could see that, yeah.
And I think that's the whole reason. And I will give them a feel of credit because they kind of bashed her a little bit on this last interview that they did, where
really?
they said they had like it. They didn't come out and say it, but it kind of said that they have nobody holding them back no more. Because you noticed before it was Saki and her writing team was writing all their stuff, and then Haraguchi-san started writing some songs that were really getting popular.
Yeah, for sure.
And she wasn't important in the band. I mean, she brought a lot to the band in sound, but I don't think they needed her ego.
Yeah, and okay, you know what? The way you framed that, I could see it that way for sure. Because you take that and you combine with the fact that she was hired as support. But I know she brought that up too. Some of the other people bring that. She was only supposed to be there for support. But she was only there for support for like how many years and for her first 3 albums. So
yeah,
that's a lot of support there.
The first album was all about Saki. You look at the interviews, it was all about her.
Yeah.
And then in later interviews when they do the premieres and that, she would just sit there and not say a word. And everybody would just read the subtitles, and she didn't have to translate nothing.
Wow. So, okay, yeah. So, yeah, I could see that, and that's why she left. She wanted to do, but why join a cover band where you're not going to get any attention, really?
I think she enjoys doing covers more because you think about when she was with Nemophila, you'd have a cover every week. And since she's gone, the covers aren't there that much. I mean, there's a few here and there, but it's not like it was before.
Yeah, that's true. And she would always have this thing where, I noticed like after she left Nemophila, she would post a lot of herself, just camera on herself, kind of like that. And I get it. She's hot. She's beautiful. She's very beautiful. Nature's been kind to her. And use that, sure. If I was hot, I would definitely be using that to be selling stuff. Okay, but I think that I think you could see that. I think you could see the kind of an ego. I don't know about like diva level, but you can see that it's like, and she even like you said, you brought up the New Year's Eve post. Like she wants to do stuff for herself. Yeah,
it's like you're part of a band. It's a group,
Yeah.
It's a family.
Well, she left, and I know some people wish that she would come back. I don't think that will happen. So, I think. What do you think about the Nemophila sound now?
I like it. I mean, Haraguchi-san is not Husky. If I'm saying that right, it's still early, but she stepped up to where I watched her playing and what she would do, and especially the stuff she's doing with Lisa X. It's like she is more than qualified to carry everything, and she's doing it. In my own opinion, because you watch them 3 songs that they did through Nano Yen, whatever they call that is, when their first live performance without Saki, they did 3 songs.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
You're not missing Saki at all. You're really not.
It's true. Yeah, she can carry it. There were, I think, I forgot what song where it's like, is it Orion or whatever? Where there's like there's a part where it was like, normally it would be like Saki solo, but I think
It was Haraguchi.
that was the only part where I was like, okay, it did sound a little bit different. I was like, okay, because you're missing what you were expecting. But other than that, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm definitely glad I gave you your new favorite bass player to watch now. Last night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, I like that song.
She's in like 4 bands. That's all she does professionally does, and she tours. Like I said, they're either from Chicago, Detroit, or New York. I'm not sure where, but she tours with them every year.
Wait.
So
okay.
You'll probably be able to see her.
So actually, just to wrap up this stream, I just want to play that one music video again. Hold on here. That music video was so good. It was okay.
I noticed you were okay with it, and you were just coming along, and then you heard the word tits, and boy, that pulled your attention right back real quick.
Well, also, I mean, yeah, for sure. I heard that, and I saw it. I was like, "Wow, this is really cool." That was a look for it. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, if you remember a video I suggested on a Friday night, it had Tamaratu playing drums in it. It was a Go-Go Racer song.
Yeah.
And she was wearing a hat. That girl was the bass player. Her and Tamaratu were in a band together.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool. Wow, I didn't even know that.
Funk you.
Okay, so let me go ahead and put this on the screen here one last time. we're gonna wrap up the stream to this, and we'll give our thoughts, and then that's about it. This is really good. Juna, Serita, right? Am I saying that right?
I think.
All right, here we go. It was right about here when I realized, oh man, okay, this might be really good.
Well, you're probably like me. You're watching that. It's like, wait a minute. This is she Japanese are always small. They're not that busty up top. It's like, what's going on here? I gotta watch this now.
Oh, you got to check out my Men of Culture channel. I'm trying to grow that thing. Yeah, I've noticed a lot more gravure models that are definitely some heavies for sure.
Music, some people don't. Some people even don't know. Some people love see my tits. Some people don't.
That's the part, yeah.
Some people even complain. Everybody has different tastes. Somebody gotta kill their time with reason, without reason, whatever. Do what you do, baby. You make me more, make me like a enemy. Alright, I don't care. Gotta funk you out. Some people say you're so good, some people don't. Some even try to hurt you. Some people love see my ass, some people don't. Some even show their owners. Nobody care about your shit. Nobody take on account with
Oh, the keyboard wizard. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I gotta funk you.
Oh man. Okay. So that was Juna, Serita, Funk You. All right. Now let me ask you that.
yes.
Oh, play that funky music. Oh my God, that's
you
gonna be
can-
so good. That's gonna be my
that's
next
hometown. That's hometown heroes.
Dude.
Wild Cherry's just down the river from me.
man. That's gonna be the
where
next.
they're from. Yeah.
Oh God, dang, this is so good. Oh, hold on. Okay.
You could. Yeah, that's a screensaver. You can leave that right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Pair of legs.
Yeah.
Right
Okay.
there. There you go. There's
Yeah,
your
that's for
thumbnail.
sure. That's for sure. That's there we go. Woo wee. That's good. Okay. The obvious thing people will say is be like, okay, guys, you guys don't want to like it because she's hot, she has tits. What do you say to that?
And attitude. And attitude.
And attitude, yeah.
Yeah, she's definitely too. Her interviews are very. She's very laid back, very nice woman, and she just got the nice stage energy to show off what she can do. You know.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, that combination having looking good and having attitude and being able to play that bass, like that's what it's at. I mean, if she just looked good, I mean, we could check out any graph room model or whatever, you know. But
yeah,
she could play too.
Oh yeah. She's there's if you check any interviews about her and because there's quite a few videos on there about her life, and that she's ranked one of the top bass players in the world. I mean, she's well known in the industry.
Play that funky music,
And,
Asian girl.
Yep.
I like to. It's not gonna be white boy. Play that funky music. Go ahead.
She started playing guitar and thought it was too hard and switched to bass because she didn't want to spend that much time learning how to play guitar. She found it too difficult, and then she excelled on bass. You know.
Hey, that's cool. Hey, so that makes sense to me, and I'm glad she did it because it sounds great.
Yeah,
but this
definitely.
is something I learned from doing the streams, which I like doing on Fridays, which that's how we cross paths. I like doing that stuff, man, and that's kind of part of this podcast. The reason why I want to do this is like have it where we talk, with guests and have I talk with guests and show some music that maybe someone hasn't seen before, maybe the guest hasn't, and of course here we're talking about something we both have seen and really like, but we did talk about Aldious, and then we did have the Gacharic spin part as well.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be checking out more Aldious.
It was good.
Kind of let them I should check them out more.
And it was good talking with you. I enjoyed this. It was good hanging out. We learned a lot about your book. It's more definitely more compelling now. It's not just a ghost story. There's a lot more to it. Like some ghost stories that just pull from historic events.
Yes, a lot of there's the paranormal's in there too. I mean, I had a big question. You know, I thought outside the box on a lot of this stuff with the ghost research and everything else on what it could be and that. And you know, I brought up some interesting facts, and I don't know what your paranormal experience is because you told me before that you are into it, but I would base a lot of questions. What is a ghost? Are they AC current or DC current?
I don't know. I don't even know what a ghost is really. It's like,
well, they keep saying they're energy, and I'm like, okay, what energy are they? And I asked experts. I was like, are they AC or the DC? I said, you're talking about electromagnets and everything else, but you don't know. And I said, that's something that needs to be thought about too. So I really went into depth when I did thinking about the ghosts and everything.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's something we could dig into even deeper next time we talk, which could definitely happen again. Next time we talk, we should definitely dig a little deeper as what is a ghost? Because I have questions about that too. Mine might be more simple-minded questions like, how come they're always wearing clothes? Like, I would imagine if I was a ghost, I would be butt naked. I would just be my
Eh,
natural body.
Well, I gave a lot of that. I mean, I thought about a lot of that stuff, like the appearance of a ghost is why are they stuck at that age? Why do, like, they'll say, okay, there's a kid here, or there's an adult, and sometimes they show up as a kid, and it's like, is it really the ghost or is it the person's perspective that brings everything out? You know,
Huh.
there's a lot of questions you don't know,
Right.
and that stuff, believe it or not, keeps me awake at night. So,
Well, you're protected. You got
but
the samurai swords behind you, so you could cut that ghost down.
yeah, can't too many people depend on what they see in Hollywood and that instead of really thinking about it.
Yeah, that's true too. All right, Brian. Well, it was good talking with you, and I hope to.
Can I plug my book? And
Oh yeah. Let's plug your book.
Information about it.
Oh yeah, I'll include that information in the show notes as well.
Okay, because I was going to say you can find it on Amazon, and if anybody's interested in learning more about me or the events or local history on Gretchen and that, I have a Facebook page called Friends of Gretchen FOG hyphen, and you can get on there and you can sign up. It's free. I mean, there's no membership or just like the page, and where it's I put any events on there, any upcoming books, stuff going on and that, and I appreciate it if you guys would support it and help us grow that little page there, because we do have the events coming up this year on August 9th in Eastern Ohio. It'll be a good event. We're gonna have 3 tours back to the lock itself with ghost investigators. That's the lock right now in the wintertime, and you can see all the stuff going on back there, and we have investigators will actually post where they're going to be and stories and stuff.
That's cool. Yeah, I pulled the Facebook group on the screen right now. Friends of Gretchen FOG.
Yeah, we'll be. Them locks have been used to be maintained as historical monuments around here, and then it kind of got away from it. So this year we've been starting to clean them up, and we're going to have a group that go out there and start cleaning them, and save them, because we're going to lose them to hit. The woods will take them over and they'll be gone forever. So we're trying to, so people can enjoy the sights and everything.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Let's see. And let me pull it up the book on the screen here as well. 1 second.
To find it, the easiest way to find it is put in Gretchen and then Brian K. Little.
Brian K. Little.
And there's 3 books
Summer
in the
of
series.
Gretchen. Okay. Go ahead and put this on the screen here. Yeah, this is where you guys can find it. There you go. Brian K. Little, Gretchen.
Yeah, that was done by the guy I'm doing the comic book for. Believe it or not, he did that in watercolor.
It looks like it, yeah. That's cool. You know what? It does look like watercolor. Like even the hair. Okay, the hair looks pretty cool. I like the way it looks there.
Yeah, he used watercolor, and to get the hard lines, he used colored pencils.
Okay.
Just to highlight little areas.
Yeah, like around the eyes. That looks like
he's
more focused. Go ahead.
Yeah, he's an incredible artist. His name's Jay Fife, and if you look at the back cover, them are 2 pictures that I drew, and a friend of mine colorized it with AI, but we won't discuss that. But that's my artwork there.
You don't want to get me fired up on AI. I was gonna say the cover.
Well, you don't realize I hate it more than you do, because I started sculpting, okay?
Yeah.
And all at once I'm like, look what I'm doing. And then they came up with the Z Pen and 3D printers, and these people were taking pictures and using a computer to add depth to it, and then printing out a sculpture and say, look what I created. I'm like, that's not sculpting, the computer did it.
Yeah.
And then they started doing, and I started drawing and art, and then boom, they got AI art, and now they're doing AI books. It's like, I'm done. I'm sick of it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why we get fired up about it, for sure. And I was going to say the cover is definitely not AI, and that's a good thing. That is a good thing. So, yeah, AI, by the way, guys, AI does get me fired up. I lost my temper the other night.
It's a tool. it's all it is a tool. It's not, it doesn't make you, you're a keyboard player. You play on
Yeah.
your keyboard and your computer does all the work, not you.
Oh yeah. So like that's a good metaphor. The equivalent of saying, "Oh, look what I did! Look what I did!" As a keyboardist, and you're using AI, it'd be like the keyboard comes with like settings, like if a song's already built into it. You just press the button and it plays the song. That's what they're doing. They press the button, play the song, but like, look what I'm doing. I'm so good at the keyboard. It's like, no, you're not. That song was already embedded in.
They don't understand with AI music, and we both missed the point of saying this. There's no expression of the composer or the writer when you use an AI.
Yeah.
Because AI is not going to break the rules on let's put a pause here for no reason at all. But to me and you as a musician or appreciating music, understand and have that feeling. A computer don't. You can't put emotion. It won't do it. I mean, yeah, it sounds cool, but it's not real music.
No, yeah, I agree. All right, Brian, it was cool talking to you. Wish to success on your book. I think it will do well. It's going to continue to do well. And I hope to talk to you
very
again
much.
Because we have more stuff to talk about, like deeper topics on ghosts and deeper topics about AI. So I look forward to that. But that said, you guys who made it this far in the podcast, let me know, because I don't know how far you guys get into. Anyway.
It was nice meeting you and talking to you. And hello, Repo. Hello, Phoenix. And not your mother, I think you say, too, is another one.
Yeah, it's not your mother. That actually might be my mother, so hold on. say nice things.
No, I'm just saying them are the usual people I interact with on there. They're friends of yours, or them, or acquaintances and that. And I'm glad you guys are welcoming me to your little group, because you're one of the few reactors I listen to, because most of them I can't stand.
Well,
you and David Heritek I check out every day.
Oh yeah. And David, I think, can talk more than I can. I don't know.
Well, I like him because he's not as fake, and you're not as fake. And there's a few people that damn well they're faking it. They can't stand that music, but they're just doing it to get the views. And I appreciate it. I start following the channel, and first thing they do, and it's no offense, I love Nightwish and I love Baby Metal, but they know they're going to get the views when they do nothing but them. And it's like, you know what, you done sold out again.
Yeah.
You're not giving everybody else a chance.
Yeah. The only reason why I haven't done Nightwish is to not come across as someone who's just doing Nightwish just to do Nightwish.
Yeah. Well, I like older Nightwish. I really don't care for the newer stuff that much.
Well, if someone recommends it, I'll check it out. But like, I'm waiting for that. So
yeah.
Anyway,
if I recommend it, I'm there and I gotta use the bathroom, and you're gonna be a while, so I know I can disappear for a little bit.
all right. Well, Brian, it's cool to talk with you. You guys, y'all take it easy.